part 2 of how to answer question 3 on paper 2 of your media studies exam, the long form television drama question, the big 30 marker. Just a reminder of the question that we're answering today. The differences in the codes and conventions of long form television dramas reflect the different values, attitudes and beliefs of the audiences that consume them. How far do you agree with this statement? So on first looking at this, it looks like an audience question, but as we discussed, this is a synoptic question, so you'll need to bring in all of your studies, so that's representation, audience, industry, and media language into your answers. The exam board have given you some helpful bullet points for you to follow, and you should do so. Last lesson, we looked at a plan, and we said that essentially we need to understand, is it the audience that's affecting the production or is it something else? We started with an introduction talking about macro before we went into micro. This lesson we're going to be thinking about our first paragraph, which is the audience paragraph, talking about what is the difference between the audiences and why that might affect the production. So let's get into that. But before we do, I just wanted to take a step back to look at the introduction that you did and to see if you've included all the right things within your introduction. So now is the time to pause the video, get the introduction that you made last lesson out in front of you, open it in a new tab, and have it out in front of you, and hopefully you can go through this with me and sort of do a little bit of self-assessment to see if you've answered the question in the right way. So pause the video now and get your introduction out in front of you. Hopefully you have your introduction out in front of you and you can cross-check this with the introduction that I showed you last lesson. I'm just going to go through it and see what you need to include. So you need to include the keywords from the question. So in this case, it's the codes and conventions of long-form TV drama reflecting different values, attitudes and beliefs of the audiences. Your first few sentences should look very similar to this. You also need to have some specific detail about the industry of long-form TV. So you need to be talking about DR and Netflix by name. Not only that, everyone's got Netflix, but you need to have something specific about Netflix, like the fact that they're present in 190 countries. And their presence in the 190 countries means that the codes and conventions that are on their show need to resonate, need to engage with the values and attitudes of the population of that individual country, whether it's the UK, whether it's Brazil, whether it's China, wherever it is. So that's important that you've got some information like that. The next thing you need to have in is, well, there we go, the keywords to construct an argument. So that's the AO2 bit that you need to have. You also need to have accurate terminology. So this is where we have, and it doesn't have to be super sophisticated terminology, but global mass audiences or smaller national or regional niche audiences, this would satisfy the use of terminology, and it's accurate industry information, and that would satisfy assessment objective 1. Carrying on with this, you are not going to just talk about Netflix, but you need to talk about DR as well. And the best way to continuously compare these two companies is to use these connectives like conversely, on the other hand, however, and although this is an English technique, it's very useful within media studies in order to try and get both sides of your argument across. Remember, this is an evaluative comment. It asks you to what extent, and therefore you need to have both sides of your argument and both products analysed. And you can do this throughout your essay. You do not need to have a separate paragraph for each of your products. We now have the references to social and economic context, so large international media companies like Netflix, and that's the economic context, and then the social context is this bottom bit here. DR needs to appeal to its niche audience by justifying the Danish license fee and reflecting the values and attitudes of the country. So here we have reference to the economics of Netflix, and here we have reference to the social ideology of Denmark. So although it's very brief, this is just the introduction. The examiner's thinking, okay, this person has given me some macro information before they go micro. They know the two companies, they know the industry well. We're off to a good start. So with your with your introduction in front of you, have you hit these key boxes? Are you able to say, yes, I've given some good terminology, I've spoken about the macro side of the industry, I've given some information about Netflix, and don't be afraid to just Google some information about Netflix now. This is not your examination. You do have the opportunity to Google some information now, and on DR as well. Get it into your essay now so that it will be sublimated in your mind when it comes to writing this properly. So again, pause the video here. If you need to add to your introduction, please do that now. So once you've made the changes to your introduction, the vast majority of today's lesson is going to be on the next paragraph, which is audience. If you look back at the question directly points you towards talking about audiences. How do TV dramas reflect the different values, attitudes and beliefs of the audiences that consume them? And it would make sense really to talk about audiences first within our essay. So let's do that. Apologies for all these arrows, they will make sense soon. So this is a paragraph that I've constructed, and hopefully I'll be able to deconstruct it for you so that you're able to write your own at the end of this video. Both genres of Stranger Things and The Killing reflect the values of their key audiences. In 2016, Netflix hybridized many genres to appeal to its global audience. This means audiences interested in sci-fi, teen romance, high school drama, action, horror, and the supernatural could find connections in Stranger Things. This appeals to Steve Neal's theory, which states that genres are fluid and evolve, often becoming hybridized and engaging multiple fans of separate genres. Okay, let's just talk through what's happened here. The question asks why the audience have impacted the production of the product. Well, I've decided to start talking about genre because in my mind, one of the main reasons why Stranger Things is successful is because it has all of these different genres forced together to make a successful product. So I want to talk about that first. But how have I done it? If we just ignore this paragraph to start off with and just focus on this top paragraph. Well, I've given specific details of the Stranger Things here, so I know that it was made in 2016, and I know that it is a blend of lots of micro genres: sci-fi, teen romance, high school drama. You could have buddy drama in there, you could have coming of age, you could have period drama in there. So it's really just showing that you have done your homework and you know what makes up Stranger Things' multiple narrative structure. The next thing is I've put a theorist in, and this is from part of my plan. This is Steve Neal's theory. Here we have Steve Neal, and remember, he talks about genres not being fixed, but they constantly evolve. And he also talks about intertextual relay, and we'll talk about that later within our essay too. So I've talked about Steve Neal, and he states, I've just given a very brief summary of what he talks about, that genres are fluid, and they are often evolved to become hybridized, as in they have more than one genre, and therefore the more genres you can have, the more fans or the greater the audience is, and that's certainly the case within Stranger Things. So I've used an appropriate theorist, and I've also explained why I've talked about Stranger Things. So because of the hybridized genre structure of Stranger Things, that means that they are going to have a bigger audience. So that's why I've used this particular theorist to answer my question. So that's the first bit. I'll leave it there so you can do the same. And if you pause the video now, if you can write your first audience point for Stranger Things, pop in if you can specific details of the show, when it was set, some of the, if you want to use Steve Neal, please do go ahead. Be specific about the different genres which are used. Write your first part of your audience paragraph now. The second part of the audience paragraph has to be about The Killing, if the first part is about Stranger Things. So in 2007, The Killing's Danish audience valued the realistic, gritty storylines reflecting the social issues within Denmark. These included corrupt politics, racism, and gender representations. The Killing reflects this through the use of the Nordic noir genre, which follows these conventions and went on to influence other Nordic noir shows like Borgen and The Bridge. The success of these shows outside of their native countries suggests culturally aware audiences were also impressed by the darker, more serious tone. So let's think about this again. Remember, we're talking about the audiences here. Again, I've shown the specific details of the show. I know that it was made in 2007. I also have given specific references here to the social, cultural, and political context, specifically of Denmark here, so the corrupt politics, racism, and gender representations. And I'll go on and supplement this later in the essay. But I'm just giving a hint here that I know what Denmark was like in 2007 and why it appealed to the Danish audience. Now, I always need to relate it back to the question. So remember, we're talking about why these shows are successful. And I said the success of these shows outside the native country suggests that the culturally aware audience were also impressed by the darker, more serious tone. So this suggests that it wasn't just a success within Denmark, but it was a success internationally. And it's because culturally aware audiences and audiences around the world were also impressed by the Nordic noir codes and conventions in the killing. And in this case, I've managed to relate that back to the question, so appropriate rationale for including information, argument, the argument is maintained, and this would satisfy assessment objective 2. So hopefully that's not too difficult to follow. There's basically two parts to this paragraph, talking about Stranger Things, talking about killing, being specific with the details of the shows, which is AO1, so that's your knowledge and your understanding, and then your justification, your rationale, and the theorist used will be AO2. So, over to you. Your next task is to write your first paragraph about audience. How has Stranger Things and the killing been affected by the audience that watches them? The global audience in terms of Stranger Things and the national audience in terms of the killing. Try and follow the same sort of rubric that I've set out here. Please do email me if there are any questions. I do appreciate this is a complex task, but I'm only asking you to do one paragraph today. You've done your introduction. You may have made changes to that today. That's great. The next paragraph is going to be audience. Pause the video here, write your audience paragraph, and add that to your blog post or the email that you send your teacher. Good luck. Let me know if there are any questions.